This is Fleurhof, where we saw some running battles just a couple of weeks ago between police, SNDF and the Red Ants, where some of the residents were evicted from those housing units. And of course, we understand this is because of the impatience when it comes to the waiting of these housing units here in Fleurhof. But again, we also understand that the Red Ants have actually been monitoring those housing units so that there won't be any further invasion. And today we saw the mayor of Johannesburg, Geoffrey Makubo, launching this project here, and of course over 100 beneficiaries getting these housing units. Let's just get some thoughts from him. Mayor, thanks so much for your time indeed. First things first, let's talk about the criteria when it comes to actually allocating these housing units here in Fleurhof.
Well, there's an objective criteria. Depending on the length of time you've been on the housing waiting list, depending on your age, people living with disabilities, there's a policy on military veterans, and the policy is quite clear for everyone to see. So the backlog we want to break is a 96, 97 in the main to 2000 housing backlog. We're looking at the state of health of the beneficiary. We're looking at the living conditions, as I say, and then we look at all other things. But it's as objective as possible.
But what could have caused the delays, Mayor? And I'm sure you saw those running battles between police as well as residents just 2 weeks ago. Some of the residents saying that they've been waiting for too long for these housing units. What is the delay?
Well, I think let's separate two things. There are different phases of this development. Now, this phase, as the phases were coming up, we reached the peak of the maximum for electricity. Now, to build a substation and all that, you need to talk to Eskom to supply more electricity. There are steps to be followed. Now, we admit that took a lot of time. Again, the disruption of the last 3 years in Johannesburg, budgets were not allocated properly to this place. But we take collective responsibility as a successor in law, successor in title. Now, we are trying to speed up the process. We tried to pass the budget in February. It was rejected by the parties in council. The DA and the EFF did not pass the budget with us. But the DA later, we spoke to it and they supported the budget now in July, which is why you're seeing the ramp up of the project here. So the last 3 years, we were not in charge of the budget. So yes, there's been a delay, but there's been politics on it. The second thing is that we shouldn't call people who have not been formally allocated houses residents here. The residents here who are allocated, because these are qualified beneficiaries who have ticked all the boxes. Now, those who think that they can allocate and appropriate themselves the responsibility to allocate houses without the authority, I call them anarchists, and they'll be pushed back. So there's no one, somebody must show you that they qualify on the system and what process they went through for them to be called residents who qualify to be here. The Gogo who applied in the 13th of April, and Gogo Moto was allocated here, she applied in 1997. She's qualified, she's a qualifying beneficiary.
Just the final one before you leave, Mayor. How many units are here? When can we expect the completion? I know some of the units are still empty. When can we expect the completion of them? How many beneficiaries can we expect to actually get these housing units?
Well, I think there are over 600 units in this phase, in the lifestyle, that they've been powered. And we say between today now, throughout the year up to October, there'll be continuous allocation of houses.
Thanks so much for your time, Mayor. Of course, ma'am, you are actually one of the beneficiaries today. Yes. You are one of the beneficiaries today here. How do you feel?
Oh, I'm very happy. Oh, I'm very happy. I'm excited. I can't even explain it, the way I'm so happy.